Hello, my name is Trent Nelson, and this is an excerpt from my book, The 7 Doors of True Healing. Which can be ordered online at my website, www.lulu.com/Trent Inspires. This is Door 6, Chapter 6, Physical Mastery. Physical mastery is a part of spiritual mastery. Spiritual mastery is not necessarily only about being meditative, nice, and holy. Physical mastery, as I'm referring to it here, refers to the ability to master the inner and outer processes of the body. I'm not necessarily talking so much about muscular strength and flexibility, or what we normally refer to as physical fitness, which may apply as well. When I speak of physical health, what I'm referring to is the ability to create health, happiness, and real health. Beauty, or perceived beauty, is not necessarily the same as being healthy. What we perceive as lovely, or are taught to perceive as lovely by magazines and television commercials, and all the images that we're bombarded with through all kinds of marketing, may have nothing to do with what is truly healthy. Case in point, when I was 21, I was a weightlifter who had a rock-hard, chiseled body. At one point, I even achieved a 2% body fat analysis and was ripped. I spent an average of 2 hours in the health club each day, 6 days a week. By all accounts, I looked like a model in a magazine. I could never account for my incredible unhappiness and feeling of being depressed, though. And every time I went to the doctor and they asked me to remove my shirt so they could listen to me breathe, they would tell me that I was the picture of health and would say to me that I was looking like the picture of health. When I was 21, I came down with a very odd problem for a 21-year-old male to have. I'd been diagnosed with lockjaw and could not open my mouth for about 3 days. I remember the only thing that I could fit into my partially open mouth was some soup. I went to 3 different doctors, including an ear, nose, and throat specialist, who told me that they couldn't figure out what was the problem given the fact that I looked so good. I asked them if I could stop working out, and their response was no, exercise is good for you, do as much as you can. This was the response from the doctors. It was actually my mother who suggested that maybe I was exercising too much. I scoffed at the idea because I was an absolute exercise junkie. Exercise was my drug and the crutch that provided my self-esteem. After researching some information about the lymphatic system at the local library, I found out that if the lymphatic system, our immune system, is depleted with an excess of physical activity, it can lead to a deterioration of the system, allowing for sickness and illness that would normally be stopped by the protective lymph, the white blood cells. The lockjaw happened because I was exercising so much that an otherwise harmless virus had entered my body and caused the lockjaw and a common cold. I cut back on my exercising by more than 50%, and within 3 days I was back to feeling good with no more lockjaw. Now, I've got nothing against exercise. In everything, I found that moderation, the golden middle way, as Buddha referred to it, as the key. Also, the reasons why we do things and how we do things is important. A person can achieve enlightenment through running, but if the body is not used correctly, it can lead to more trauma and trouble than it will create health and ease. If there is an anger in the exercising, such as thinking that one is not good enough looking, and so needs to exercise more, then toxins from negative emotions and the negative thinking are simultaneously released into the body and cancel out all of the good that the movement is creating. If you don't believe me, think about this. Tension held for too long releases lactic acid into a muscle. Imagine if you were to be thinking about someone you dislike while you are doing strenuous exercise. While you're doing the negative imagery, the toxins are being released into your body, and thus the exercise becomes negative to your health. So it does depend on how and why your exercise is being done. Physical health is a balance between physical, emotional, psychological, and spiritual processes. Physical mastery is a step that few will take, though eventually everyone will need to heal themselves in this lifetime or the next or the next. Physical mastery is about knowing the body so well that you know exactly what your body needs from moment to moment. Children have done this well until they become accustomed to societal learning. For anybody who's heard of the healthcare modality known as biofeedback, it is a feedback mechanism that helps a person get in touch with the inner workings of their body through sensory mechanisms that are placed on a person's body. There are different forms of biofeedback, but basically, electrodes are placed on the body and used to aid a person in connecting with the amounts of tension in the body through feedback from the muscle and other tissues and fluid levels. This system was developed in part thanks to one of my colleagues, gurus, who helped bring the yoga movement to America back in the late 60s in the Minneapolis, Minnesota area. He founded the Meditation Center in northeast Minneapolis, and his name was Swami Rama, one of the East's true great gurus and a master of his own physical process. They used Swami Rama in the university system to test how he could be in charge of his physical process in a way that they'd never seen or heard of before, and only read about in such books as Autobiography of a Yogi. Of course, they'd seen it for thousands of years in the East. Swami Rama could raise his body temperature without any external movement by meditatively increasing his heart rate, and he could instantly put himself into a meditative state which would cause alpha brainwave activity that was unheard of at the time in the West. In all actuality, exercise causes many trips to the hospital emergency room each year, and it's something like 30,000 runners die of heart attacks while running each year. True spiritual mastery refers to the ability to master all of life's arenas. This includes being able to heal one's body of ailments, symptoms, and diseases, or have connection to those who can, and to be able to achieve emotional and psychological well-being, to be able to create the life you want without blockages or problems. To be in the flow, as it's called. This has been an excerpt from my book, The 7 Doors of True Healing, Door 6, Physical Mastery. This book is available at my website, www.lulu.com/Trent Inspires. Thank you for watching.